Hello and welcome to Sports Today. Plenty of news items today, plenty of news points, analytical points to discuss with you all. But first, couple of major announcements. One, MS Dhoni turns another leaf tomorrow, his birthday. We will do a special on MS Dhoni. So tomorrow, a special on MS Dhoni. This is Indian cricket's birthday week. So tomorrow, a special on MS Dhoni on Sports Today. Day after, a special on Saurav Ganguly on Sports Today for his birthday. So tomorrow, MS Dhoni's birthday, a special on MS Dhoni. Day after, Saurav Ganguly's birthday, a special on Saurav Ganguly. And then on the 10th of July, it's the original Little Master's birthday, a special on Sunil Gavaskar. So three specials coming your way on the 7th, the 8th, and the 10th of July on Sports Today. So please mark your calendars. 5 p.m. tomorrow, MS Dhoni. 8th July, 5 p.m. Saurav Ganguly, and 10th July, 5 p.m. Sunil Gavaskar. These are the three specials that will come to you on Sports Today. Coming to the first news item, and it's a very important development. 7 England players and support staff, 3 plus 4, have been COVID positive. Now, clearly what is happening in England, you have to understand what is happening in society to understand what ECB has done. After Boris Johnson's press conference, we know that the country will go through a transition now. They will no longer, they're going down the same route as Singapore or maybe even Israel. If you see the number of cases, they're hovering around 25, 26, 27,000. But the number of hospitalizations and deaths, yesterday was 9 deaths. Previous day was 14, 15. So the number of deaths and hospitalizations remain low. So clearly, with the vaccination going on in full steam, UK is transitioning into a phase of open up. They now feel, the PHE, Public Health England, NHS, all of them feel that, basically what is going on is the COVID case rise is not equal to hospitalizations or death. As a result, the country will now transition to this phase where they will live with COVID. That is precisely what England is doing in a sentence. I think every country in the world will have to do that. If you see Israel in the last 10 days, yesterday there was 1 death. 10 days there's been 1 death, 9 days no death. Serious patients, 35 in hospitals out of, I think it's 1%, 35 patients in hospital out of some 3,000 active cases in Israel. So clearly it's a 1% that is in hospital, and the number of people died is 1 in the last 10 days. So that's where people want to go now with COVID, that you will treat it like flu. If you vaccinate the country, serious cases, hospitalizations will fall, and you can open up. There will be cases, you deal with it and move on. That's how these countries are going to deal with it. As a result, ECB also allowed significant leeway to its players and support staff. With the Delta variant pretty much active in the UK at the moment, 3 players and 4 support staff have been tested positive. They are all isolated. According to the health protocol, they are all close contacts. I think the Sri Lankan team is also deemed close contact because they played with these boys. So the Sri Lankan team is supposed to come back and supposed to also play with India starting the 13th of July. That's something else that we need to park. Obviously, there will be multiple tests. But coming to the UK scenario, what England has now done, you have identified these players. They are isolating. The full team has been deemed close contacts. The entire team is isolating. 7 days, 10 days, couple of tests out. And that will now become part of life. That is frankly what will become part of life in the UK going forward from 19 July onwards. But the question is about the Indian boys. What has England done? Now this clearly came to light yesterday. If you read Tom Harrison's statement, they have said that we acted swiftly all night. We have already planned a new team. Ben Stokes will captain that team. Counties have been spoken to. Players have been pulled out. Series will go ahead against Pakistan. We will have an England side. And they have enough and more talent in that side, enough and more depth in that team to be able to put forward a team. That is also there. The question is with India. Now, the Indian boys have been seen at Wimbledon. Rishabh was there at Wembley. Rishabh was there watching football. We've seen photographs of Jadeja in coffee shops. We have seen Ravi and the lot at Wimbledon. So the Indian boys are also clearly, having a break in the UK for these, 3 weeks. Now, if they pick up an infection, because of the red travel restrictions on account of COVID, will the BCCI be able to send replacements? If they pick up an infection when they join the squad again, what will happen to the rest of the boys? How will the Indian team react? So is it time, because of the travel restrictions, no other reason, because of the red list travel restrictions and all of it, is it time for the BCCI to pull the boys back and get them to base? The base will probably be Durham now. So the base will be Durham from the 14th of July. Will they or should they do it 1 week earlier? Because if they do pick up an infection, they will have to isolate for about 10, 12 days and get themselves tested multiple times, negative and out. So if that happens, Indian team's plan for England will turn haywire, because you cannot overnight send replacements. They will again have to quarantine. They will not get acclimatized. They will not be able to play the 2 warm-up matches. And as a result, the team might suffer. So keeping all of these factors in mind, the question that looms large is, should the BCCI now step in, given the COVID protocols that are there for a country like India, which is part of the red list, call the boys back, ask them to come back to base, because the Durham reassembly was supposed to be on the 14th of July. Should it now be in the next couple of days, given what has happened in the England camp with the 7 positive COVID cases? This is a big, big question. My thought is, given the travel restrictions, it wouldn't be a wrong thing for the board, because they've already had a 2-week break. They've had a break from the 24th of June till now, which is about 14 odd days. That's a decent enough break. It will not be a bad idea to call them back to base, given 1 week. If somebody tests positive, you still have enough time for that fellow to isolate, clear himself, and get back into action, because most of them, all of them are vaccinated, so it shouldn't be serious illness in any way, and they are all athletes, so should be very mild, because obviously all of them are asymptomatic if they're out there, so they should be able to get back in about 10 odd days, right? So is it important now for the board to call them back to base? I think the answer is yes. They've already had a bit of a break. They should reassemble, given that the travel restrictions will not allow players to travel overnight, and there is quarantine and all of it. So the Indian boys, who are all sort of their last week of break, might just be curtailed, or should be curtailed, if India does not want to risk COVID infections going forward in the UK with the cricket team. That's my thought. They are clearly, obviously, and everyone needs his break. Everyone, and some of them, most of them have family. So they do need their leisure time, they need their space, but with the Delta variant pretty much rampant, they're going through the peak of the 3rd wave. It might just make sense to hold back a little bit, push back, because you do not want the team to be in jeopardy and lose out on key players going into the first test match. That was my first major news point. The second point, should the BCCI allow replacements for Shubman Gill? Because if you actually see, let me first give you the details. Shubman Gill was ruled out around the 26th of June, 26th, 27th of June. 28th of June, the team management, Shirish Dongre, sent a mail, something that I broke yesterday on Twitter. He sent a mail addressed to the chairman of selectors, and the mail said that it was coming from the captain, the coach, and the team management, that Shubman Gill is out of the series. As a result, they were asking for 2 replacements. Let me also make this clear that the mail did not mention any name, but they were asking for a replacement for Shubman Gill. So it is pretty much apparent that the replacements had to be openers. The idea was that if one of the others get injured in a 5 test match series, again there is the quarantine issue and travel restrictions, they wanted a couple of opening options, because if Rohit and Mayank, these are the 2 guys they have. KL Rahul, from what I've been told, is no longer being considered as an opener. He's being considered as a middle order bat by the team management as well. So if that is the case, so Mayank will open. There is no question. Plenty of thoughts on Twitter. What happens to Mayank? Mayank will open. But if one between Mayank and Rohit gets injured, or something happens to one of them, what is the fallback? The fallback would have been a makeshift with either a Hanuma Vihari, or they do not want to rescale Rahul as an opener. They want to play in middle order. So they would have to do this. Frankly, that is the fallback. That is the fallback, as a result of which the team management had written this mail on the 28th of June to the chairman of selectors, asking for 2 replacements. Now, if you read between the lines, the 2 replacements that are being asked for are 1 Prithvi Shaw and 2 Devdutt Padikkal, because these are the 2 openers who have done well. Devdutt Padikkal average of 34 in first class cricket, but average of 87 in white ball cricket, with phenomenal record in white ball cricket. Okay, so that's a huge thing, huge thing. That's something that is massively important. You have to keep this in mind. Devdutt Padikkal's white ball record is stunningly good. It is phenomenal. So they are keeping that in mind, but you can also say, oh, his red ball record in first class cricket is average. Abhimanyu Ishwaran is the is the standby opener who's already in England. Now, if you are asking for 2 openers or replacements, what does this mean for Ishwaran? Abhimanyu Ishwaran has an average of 44 in first class cricket in red ball. But his last 12 matches, except a 99 against Jammu and Kashmir, hardly any runs. So there is that consideration. Now, if you are asking for replacements, where does this place Ishwaran? Is he not good? Is the team management not pleased with him? Where does this place Ishwaran? Did the selectors not take the team management into confidence when they put out, when they selected Ishwaran? There are these major questions that have now come up, because clearly when you have an Abhimanyu Ishwaran in the UK as the fallback, as the backup, as the standby opener, you have asked for 2 replacements. That tells me that the team management at least is certainly not pleased or does not have the confidence on Abhimanyu Ishwaran. Will the BCCI now give in and send these players? Because if they have to send the players, frankly, I find it utterly bizarre that the chairman of selectors did not receive the mail. That's what is being said. How can a mail not be received in this day and age? Either the mail bounces back or the mail must have been received. It can't be midway. That an email did not get received by the chairman of selectors, I find this explanation utterly bizarre. If that's the case, they have again sent the mail yesterday or asked for replacements. Will the board give it? If the board gives in and sends them, Prithvi is in Sri Lanka, will they be pulled out? Will they be sent to England? There is a lot of confusion doing the rounds. Will these players go to England? Because if the board has to send these players to England, they should send them now so that they can quarantine and play at least 1 warm-up game. If they do not play a single warm-up game, obviously they are not in contention or not be ready for the first test match starting the 4th of August. So many questions there. Will the board send? Why wasn't the mail received? What was going on? Will they allow these players to go? If they do, when will they do so? Because clearly there are questions here. There are questions here. Okay. Now coming to point number 2 here. That if the BCCI doesn't allow, they might well say that, oh, Abhimanyu Ishwaran is the backup standby, whatever opener. You have to make do with Abhimanyu Ishwaran. So that decision has to be conveyed so that the team management at least knows that, okay, no replacement is coming, Mayank, Rohit, Ishwaran, or if they have to make do, from what I understand, they will make do with a Vihari or somebody. They should be prepared because the 2 warm-up games are coming. India should be with a clear-cut strategy and plan going ahead to these 2 warm-up games, because that's very, very important going to the first test match on the 4th of August. That was my news point number 2, the Shubman Gill mystery, if I can call it, and the mystery of the missing email. What will the BCCI do? What will the selection committee do based on this? And now this is a formal request from the team management. No longer is in the realm of, oh, they will see, etc. It's a formal request for 2 replacements for Shubman Gill. Third news point is Mithali Raj. Delighted that she is back at the top of the ICC rankings again. Number 1 in the ICC ODI rankings, 8th time in her career. Spectacular ODI series, 70-70-70. But I still believe Mithali Raj should bat at number 3 for India. The best batter should bat at number 3 for India. And look at the social media tone and tenor. After that first match, she was being castigated for low strike rate. She should be removed, etc. Now, all of a sudden, she has become God again. This is the fickleness I keep talking about, or the lack of balance I keep talking about, as far as our sports fandom is concerned. There has to be a degree of balance. Has to be a degree of balance exercised. Mithali Raj, many congratulations once again for the number 1 position in the ICC rankings. Yet again is proof that you've got to back your cricketers, players with talent, players who have been there, done that, and know what the big stage is. And Raj is one such. We need Raj. And again, on the same tenor, I will say, we need Harman. We need Raj, we need Harman, we need Smriti, we need Jhulan going into the World Cup, because these are absolute pivots, pillars of the Indian cricket team, players who we need if we have to do well in the 2022 World Cup in New Zealand. Coming to my news point number 4, Roger Federer, again, what a star. I mean, I don't think there is a sports person who living in this planet who is more loved than Roger Federer. I mean, somebody who keeps giving us joy every single time he steps on the court. Yesterday till midnight and past that, all of us enjoyed his round of 16 game, now in the quarters. Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, both of them in the quarters. Will it be another dream? Roger Federer, as long as he's around, we should soak in every second of that man. Every second. And that's the Wimbledon update. Last phase of SW19, packed centre court. There will be cases. Kate Middleton, for example, came in close contact, the Duchess of Cambridge, with a COVID positive patient, now is self-isolating. This will happen in this world. It will happen. More and more vaccinations will mean it will become endemic and become like flu. The final news point, start of the Euro semi-finals, 2 fantastic games lined up in 2 consecutive days. Italy versus Spain and England versus Denmark. Interestingly, Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen were teammates at Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously this tournament, from the Danish standpoint at least, is dedicated to Christian Eriksen. After what happened, there has been a wave of emotion that is sweeping through. Can they continue their fairy tale run at Wembley, or will England, under Gareth Southgate, march to the Wembley final? Rajoshi will come with a special show on the first semi-final, Italy versus Spain, at 8 p.m. But for me, the 2 teams I support are Italy and England. England tomorrow, Gareth Southgate's side, will they march on? Will they march on, and will the trophy come home? They have the team. For me, they are the favorites going into this match. Denmark will ride emotion. They're a good side. They've done well. But England has all the bases covered. If you look at the back line, from Pickford onwards, Stones and Maguire and Trippier and Walker, and look at that half line, and then the scoring opportunities that are being created, Kane and Sterling are absolutely sterling. So will England march on? I think they will. And coming to the Italy versus Spain game, Spain was all over Switzerland in the quarterfinal. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't score. Somers was fantastic. It was Sommer versus Spain. Morata and Jordi Alba and everyone came close. Eventually, they won by penalties. Italy has been the team to beat right through this competition. If you see Roberto Mancini's side, Spain might have more possession given the style of play, but Italy is a top team, quality team. They took out Belgium. It's a very, very good unit. Number of matches they have been unbeaten is quite astounding. They had clean sheets for many of those games. Absolutely top-notch side this Italian side is. Every position they have backups for. And I think, again, in the first semi-final, Italy go in as favorites against Spain. So the 2 teams that I think are going in as favorites, and I can be totally wrong, I think the 2 teams are Italy and England. So I can be wrong, but these are the 2 teams I will support as well. Let me take some questions, but before that, let me tell you again. Tomorrow, MS Dhoni's birthday. So we will have a special on Mahendra Singh Dhoni on Sports Today. Day after Saurav Ganguly's birthday, we will have a special on Saurav Ganguly on Sports Today. And on the 10th, Mr. Gavaskar's birthday, we will have a special on Sunny Bhai on Sports Today. So plenty of special shows coming your way. Plus, obviously, our focus will not move from the Olympics. Like yesterday, we mentioned Manpreet, Mary, and Bajrang. Many congratulations to three of them. You know, India's flag bearers, the team will start to depart from next week. We have done many exclusives. All of them will keep coming your way on Sports Today as our build-up for the Olympic Games will continue. And then on the 19th, Rahul Rawat and I depart for Tokyo with our team. And obviously thereafter, the focus will entirely be on the Olympic Games from Tokyo. So that's what you will get on Sports Today and India Today and Aaj Tak and Sports Tak. Let me take questions. Dinesh Karthik is already in England. Can he be picked in emergency? No. Dinesh Karthik is definitely not called. Kanishk Johri is not in the scheme of things for test match cricket. Steyn and Anderson, obviously Anderson, 1,000 wickets. I mean, come on, absolute legend of the game, no question. Voria Manjumdar, you have done my thing as well, lovely. Pawan Pingle, Ishwaran will be considered, but they're asking for more openers in case someone gets injured. No, Pawan, if you consider Ishwaran, you still have Mayank, Rohit, and Ishwaran. So you have a backup. That is why he was standby. If you are asking for further openers, clearly it implies that one KL is in the middle order and two, Ishwaran doesn't have the confidence of the team management. Otherwise, you still have a backup opener. Why are you asking for someone more? He was standby. He was not part of the team. So he automatically gets dovetailed if you are seeing he's good enough and he will be considered. So that's not correct. The thing is, from what I understand, they're asking for more because clearly they have doubts about Ishwaran. Why is a question, then why was he picked? Himanshu Mahajan, team management should respect the decision of selectors. Maybe not. Did the team management get consulted? Ultimately, the buck stops with the team management, not Chetan Sharma. The buck stops with Kohli, Shastri, Rohit, and the rest of the men and Ajinkya. That's the team management, not Chetan Sharma and the rest of the selectors. They are not responsible. The defeat will hurt the team. They will get the blame. So no, if you do not give the team, the selectors will have to take the blame. That is the question. Was the team management not consulted or not taken into confidence when the selection was made? Indranil Raichaudhuri, poor Ishwaran team not happy with him, took him for a joyride. That is the point, Indranil. Why was he taken if the team was not happy with him? Shalini, let him finish the entire Sri Lanka tour without injury. You know, if you are being pulled out and if you are going, who knows? I mean, that is why there is a lot of confusion going around. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, the mail not getting received. Days went, 28th to the 5th of July, 7 days went past. You could have sent the replacement if you want to, or if you do not want to send a replacement, make that point very clear that no replacement is going. What in your opinion about the players who scored double century in T20 match against, what are you asking here? Sir, what BCCI can contribute to stop depleting the crisis in Sri Lankan cricket? Nothing. We are not responsible to mollycoddle Sri Lankan cricket in any way. Does the selectors have the guts to communicate to take Ishwaran? No, they can't. What do you mean guts? They can say we will not send someone, but ultimately the call is the team management's to select the final 11. It is not Chetan Sharma or anybody else's call. And it is rightfully the team management's call because they have to take the blame if they lose. What the selectors, of course, can do is, no, you have Ishwaran, dovetail Ishwaran into the squad and we are not sending a replacement. That's what I want clarity for. They can absolutely say that, but whether he will play or not is not the selector's call, it's the team management's call. Is there a place for Rajeshwari Gaikwad and Radha Yadav? Absolutely, Rajeshwari Gaikwad is someone, she couldn't travel because of COVID. I think she's a must in this team. And Radha Yadav, definitely, I mean, she's the best fielder. I do think both of them, I mean, you know, you cannot just say, oh, with the rise of Sneh Rana, everything's gone. No, we need multiple players. That's when you become a champion team. And of course, Rajeshwari Gaikwad with her recent performances, she's been very, very impressive, Rajeshwari Gaikwad. Gill out of IPL also? No. From what I know, it will take about 2.5 months. So July, August, mid-September, no, maybe not out of the IPL. Okay, Aman Agarwal, Rohit Sharma doesn't captain in T20 World Cup, get ready to be runner-up. You know, no one needs to get ready. Aman, you can get ready. I will not, or I don't think the rest of the country needs to get ready either. Rajan Singh, what BCCI can contribute to stop? Again, I've answered that. Selector once again will prove what Jimmy said in 1989. I mean, it's a strange one. Kapil Paji, for example, said, and I respect Kapil Paji's opinion when he said that, oh, you know what, players are already there. But in 1986, when Kapil Paji was captain, he pulled out Madan Lal Sharma from the minor county. I mean, he was there ahead of Manoj Prabhakar, because the story goes that Manoj Prabhakar's ball wasn't swinging much, and they pulled out Madan Lal Sharma, dovetailed him in the team at night. Next morning, he played the match. So Kapil Paji as captain had done this himself in 1986. So there is precedence. If the team management thinks that they need someone, they need someone. Gauhar Jahan, proud of Mithali Raj. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gauhar, as a woman, I'm very proud to hear that news about number one ranking. All of us are. What do you mean woman, man? There's nothing. All of India, Gauhar, is proud of Mithali Raj. All of India, man, woman, irrespective. You know what? I also think that it is now time for people like Jhulan Goswami, Mithali Raj to start mentoring the men's team. I mean, when, for example, Mithali and Jhulan have both said that they will retire post the World Cup of next year. Now, I want to see Jhulan and Mithali as coach or batting coach and bowling coach, respectively, of an IPL team. If men can do it for women, what stops Mithali and Jhulan? I mean, they have 25 years of international experience each. They will be far better coaches and consultants and mentors for any IPL team. I want to see them in that role. That's where sensitivity should take us. Okay, I think I've taken enough questions. That was the show today. I'll finish off on the note that tomorrow will be a Mahendra Singh Dhoni special on Sports Today for his birthday. Day after will be a Saurav Ganguly special, and on 10th, a Mr. Gavaskar special. All the very best to all of you. Thank you very much for watching, and keep supporting Sports Today. Thank you and goodbye.